Hello, welcome to Interesting History YouTube channel. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and post your thoughts and feedback in the comment section below. Welcome to Impeachment Land, where the journey from Nixon to Trump is anything but ordinary. From scandals to hearings, the impeachment process has seen its fair share of drama over the years. Join me as we take an exclusive look at how Nixon, Clinton, and Trump navigated the treacherous waters of impeachment. The Impeachment Primer. A quick constitutional refresher. Impeachment, that magical word that conjures images of political drama, legal battles, and a dash of historical significance. But before we dive headfirst into the tales of Nixon, Clinton, and Trump's roller coaster rides through impeachment land, let's take a step back and demystify this process with a sprinkle of wit and a heap of information. Imagine the United States Constitution as the ultimate rulebook for the American political playground. Within its pages lies the concept of impeachment, a process designed not for the faint of heart, but for the checks and balances that keep our political system in a delicate balance. The House of Representatives, think of them as the accusers, wielding the power to say, "We've got our eyes on you," to any high-ranking official who might be playing fast and loose with the law. On the flip side, the Senate plays the role of the ultimate jury, sitting high and mighty, ready to decide the fate of those accused. Impeachment itself isn't about packing the accused's bags and sending them on a one-way trip out of office. No, it's more like the world's most intense job performance review. The House of Representatives starts the process, essentially raising their hands and saying, "Excuse me, but we've got some concerns." If they decide to proceed, they draft articles of impeachment, which are essentially a list of grievances that would make even the Founding Fathers say, "Oh, snap." But an impeachment inquiry in the House is just the opening act. For any real action to happen, the Senate must step in to conduct a trial. Picture it, a courtroom drama, but with higher stakes and a lot more Latin phrases. The Senate listens, deliberates, and then votes. Convicting and removing someone from office requires a 2/3 supermajority, a threshold that's about as easy to meet as convincing a cat to take a leisurely bath. So as we embark on this journey through the impeachments of Nixon, Clinton, and Trump, keep in mind that impeachment is a complex dance between the legislative branches, steeped in constitutional mandates, and political intrigue. It's a testament to the framers' foresight, ensuring that power can be checked, balance can be maintained, and drama can be guaranteed in the halls of American governance. Now, let's get back to our regularly scheduled programming and see how this all plays out in the real world. Richard Nixon, the one who got away. Richard Nixon, the Houdini of the presidential impeachment world. His story is a riveting tale of political intrigue, secret recordings, and a dash of 70s flair that would make even the most stoic historian reach for a bowl of popcorn. Nixon's journey through the murky waters of impeachment land began with a break-in at the Democratic National Committee headquarters, located in the Watergate complex. Little did anyone know, this seemingly run-of-the-mill burglary was about to unravel the sweater of his presidency, thread by dramatic thread. Dubbed the Watergate scandal, it turned into the political equivalent of a blockbuster thriller complete with clandestine meetings, hush money, and tapes that weren't just for listening to disco. As the scandal unfolded, Nixon found himself in a spiderweb of his own making. The plot thickened with revelations of obstruction of justice, abuse of power, and contempt of Congress. The trifecta of political no-nos. Here's where Nixon's story takes a twist worthy of a Hollywood script. Facing almost certain impeachment by the House of Representatives in a Senate trial that would have made Julius Caesar's betrayal look like a mild inconvenience, Nixon did the unthinkable. He resigned. Yes, on August 8, 1974, Nixon decided that he would rather bow out than be ousted, making him the first, and so far only, president to resign from office. It was the ultimate "you can't fire me, I quit" moment in U.S. political history. Nixon's resignation was the escape act of the century. By resigning, he effectively slipped through the impeachment noose, leaving behind a legacy wrapped in scandal and a nation grappling with questions of trust and authority. In the end, Nixon's departure from the political stage was as dramatic and unprecedented as his ascent. He didn't just walk away from the presidency, he sprinted, leaving a trail of constitutional debates and political soul-searching in his wake. In the annals of American history, Nixon's story is a cautionary tale of ambition, power, and the importance of a good tape recorder. His journey through impeachment land is a reminder that in the game of political chess, sometimes the king chooses to leave the board rather than face checkmate. And so Nixon, the one who got away, remains an enduring figure in the saga of presidential impeachments, his legacy a complex tapestry of achievement and infamy. Bill Clinton, impeachment, but make it personal. Dive into the tale of Bill Clinton, the 42nd President of the United States, whose journey through impeachment land reads like a script straight out of a political soap opera. The year was 1998, and the scandal that would define Clinton's presidency was about to unfold in a spectacle that mixed power, betrayal, and, let's not forget, an infamous blue dress. This wasn't just any impeachment saga. It was one that took the concept of "it's personal" to entirely new heights. Clinton found himself in the hot seat over allegations of perjury and obstruction of justice tied to his extramarital affair with Monica Lewinsky, a White House intern. It was the kind of scandal that had Americans glued to their TVs, newspapers, and the early internet, whispering in hushed tones not just about the implications for the nation, but the juicy details of a White House scandal. The House of Representatives, perhaps donning the proverbial role of the nation's morality police, voted to impeach Clinton, slapping him with charges that seemed to scream, "Gotcha!" But his fate, or perhaps the Senate would have it, Clinton was acquitted in 1999, allowing him to serve out the remainder of his second term. This was impeachment with a side of drama, where the stakes were as much about personal indiscretions as they were about legal boundaries. Unlike the silent film that was Nixon's swift exit, or the double feature horror show of Trump's impeachments, Clinton's impeachment was a prime-time drama that had it all. Suspense, betrayal, and a cast of characters that could rival any daytime TV show. It was a story that tested the waters of America's values, questioning the very fabric of moral and ethical leadership. In the end, Clinton's impeachment saga did little to dent his armor. His presidency survived the storm, and he left office riding a wave of high approval ratings, proving perhaps that in the court of public opinion, charisma, and economic success might just outweigh personal failings. Clinton's narrative in the annals of impeachment history stands out, not just for its personal nature, but for the conversation it sparked across dinner tables and in the halls of Congress about power, responsibility, and the all-too-human flaws of those we elect to lead. Donald Trump, double trouble in impeachment land. Donald Trump, the only member of the impeachment club with a buy one, get one free coupon, ventured into impeachment land not once but twice, a feat as extraordinary as his social media escapades. Trump's first tour in 2019 spun around a web of accusations involving abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, linked to a phone call with Ukraine that had more twists than a pretzel factory. Picture it, a political thriller where the protagonist's fate hangs on a conversation, setting the stage for Act 1 of the Trump impeachment saga. Fast forward to 2021, and Trump's back for a sequel, proving that in American politics, lightning can indeed strike twice. The charge, incitement of insurrection, stemming from a Capitol riot that felt like a scene borrowed from a dystopian novel. This round had all the elements of a blockbuster, drama, action, and a divided nation, watching with bated breath. Despite the high stakes and the history-making double feature, The Senate's verdict was a repeat of the first: acquittal, with Trump exiting stage right, still a free man. Trump's dual impeachments were less about the final curtain call and more about the spectacle, turning the political arena into a gladiator fight, viewed by millions. His journey through impeachment land wasn't just a historical footnote. It was a prime-time show that tested the boundaries of party loyalty, legal interpretations, and the resilience of the U.S. Constitution. As with any good drama, Trump's impeachment adventures left the audience divided. Some cheered, others jeered, but all were glued to their screens, witnessing a political saga that would make even the writers of ancient Roman plays blush. The Trump episodes in impeachment land underscore the adage that in politics, sometimes the sequel is just as riveting as the original. Yet, unlike blockbuster movies, there's no popcorn or comfy seats, just the edge of your seat, as history unfolds in the most unpredictable ways. The impeachment process, how it's supposed to work. The impeachment process, the constitutional equivalent of a high-stakes game show, but with more gravitas and significantly less confetti. It's where political careers can take a turn for the dramatic, and where the phrase high crimes and misdemeanors gets its moment in the spotlight. But how does this process work, you ask? Gather round for a witty yet informative breakdown. Imagine the House of Representatives as the nation's collective roommate, tidying up the political landscape and occasionally finding something under the couch that just can't be ignored. When they stumble upon conduct by a high-ranking official that raises eyebrows higher than the national debt, the impeachment process begins. It starts with an investigation, kind of like a detective series where every committee member plays their part in uncovering the truth, or at least their version of it. If the House finds enough dirt to build a sandcastle of wrongdoing, they draft articles of impeachment. Think of these as formal charges, or the political world's way of saying, we need to talk. It's not a good talk, more like the kind of talk that could end with you being grounded, but in this case, being removed from office. Once the House votes and decides to impeach, it's over to the Senate's court. Here's where the real drama unfolds. The Senate transforms into a courtroom. Senators turn into jurors, and the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court plays the role of the judge in presidential impeachments, ensuring that everyone plays by the rules. It's less Judge Judy and more 12 angry men, with a dash of C-SPAN. For an official to be convicted, 2/3 of the Senate must vote against them. Achieving this supermajority is about as easy as threading a camel through the eye of a needle. If they succeed, the official is removed from office and they must update their LinkedIn status to seeking employment. However, if the Senate votes to acquit, the official remains in office, likely with a story that will one day become a riveting Netflix documentary. So there you have it, the impeachment process, a testament to the checks and balances that keep the political seesaw from tipping too far in one direction. It's a rare and complex dance between the legislative branches, ensuring that accountability and transparency aren't just buzzwords in the annals of democracy. The political fallout, life after impeachment. The aftermath of impeachment. It's like waking up the morning after a blockbuster movie premiere, where the stars are your not-so-favorite political figures, and the reviews are penned by history itself. The credits have rolled on the impeachment saga, but what happens next? It's not quite happily ever after, nor is it the end of a career for some. It's more like a choose-your-own-adventure book, where the next chapter is always a surprise. For Nixon, his post-impeachment life was akin to being the main character in a political ghost story. He vanished from the public eye, only to re-emerge as the elder statesman with a controversial legacy, proving that even in politics, time can heal, or at least put a band-aid on some wounds. Nixon became a cautionary tale whispered in the halls of power, a reminder of how quickly the mighty can fall. Bill Clinton, on the other hand, turned his impeachment into a badge of resilience. He sauntered out of the Senate, acquitted, and somehow managed to morph from a president on trial to a Teflon-coated celebrity of sorts. Clinton's post-presidency has been filled with philanthropy, speaking engagements, and an uncanny ability to remain a beloved figure in many circles, despite the scandal that once threatened to define him. It's as if he took the script of his impeachment, flipped it on its head, and wrote himself a new role as the charismatic comeback kid. And then there's Donald Trump, the sequel king of impeachments, who managed to turn his twin acquittals into a rallying cry for his base. Far from fading into the background, Trump has stayed front and center, hinting at comebacks and continuing to shape the political landscape. His post-impeachment era is less a quiet retirement and more an ongoing tour, proving that in the age of social media, the line between political office and influencer status is increasingly blurred. In the world of political fallout, life after impeachment is unpredictable. Some face ostracization, others bask in rehabilitation, and a few manage to rewrite their legacies entirely. It's a testament to the complexity of politics and public opinion, where the final chapter is never really written, and the ink on history's pages is always waiting for a plot twist. Public opinion and media circus, the impeachment spectacle. Roll up to the greatest show on earth, or at least in American politics. When the word impeachment hits the airwaves, it's as if the nation tunes into a season-long reality TV series, with plot twists no one saw coming. The spectacle of impeachment transcends the hallowed halls of Congress, spilling into every living room, Twitter feed, and water cooler conversation across the country. Imagine the public square, not as a physical place, but as a vast virtual coliseum, where gladiators of opinion wield tweets instead of swords and news anchors, serve as the ever-watchful referees. Here, public opinion is the emperor, offering a thumbs up or thumbs down, often swayed by the day's headlines or a particularly juicy cable news segment. The impeachment process, with its high stakes and moral drama, feeds into this narrative, turning legal proceedings into binge-worthy content. In this modern coliseum, every citizen becomes a critic, a juror, and a participant in the spectacle. The division lines are drawn not by aisles in Congress, but by the news channels we subscribe to and the echo chambers we inhabit online. The impeachment of a president becomes more than a constitutional process. It transforms into a mirror reflecting America's partisan divides, highlighting the fragmented reality we navigate. The media circus that accompanies impeachment isn't just a sideshow, it's the main attraction. Cable news networks run marathon coverage, dissecting every testimony and analyzing each legal argument with the zeal of sports commentators during the Super Bowl. Social media, meanwhile, becomes a battleground of memes, hot takes, and viral hashtags, each trying to capture the essence of the day's proceedings in 280 characters or a 60-second TikTok. Yet, amidst the spectacle, the gravity of impeachment sometimes gets lost in the noise. It's easy to forget that at the heart of this process are questions of profound importance about governance, ethics, and the rule of law. The challenge, then, is to peel away the layers of spectacle, to move beyond the circus, and engage with the substance. For in the end, the impeachment spectacle isn't just entertainment. It's democracy in action, warts and all. Lessons learned. Can history teach us anything? Embarking on our journey through the hallowed halls of impeachment land. From the shadowy corridors of Nixon's near miss to the dramatic doubleheader of Trump's political saga, what pearls of wisdom can we pluck from the tumultuous sea of history? The short answer, quite a few, especially if we're keen on avoiding a repeat performance. History, in its infinite jest, serves up a smorgasbord of lessons, garnished with a pinch of irony and a dash of hindsight. First up on the menu, the indelible mark of accountability. It whispers, or in some cases shouts from the rooftops, that even those perched at the pinnacle of power aren't immune to a fall from grace when the scales of justice tip. Then there's transparency, that elusive creature often found playing hide and seek in the political wilderness. Our journey through impeachment tales reveals that when leaders opt for the camouflage of obfuscation over the clear waters of openness, they often find themselves sinking rather than swimming. And let's not forget integrity, the backbone of credible leadership. History has shown us that its absence is like navigating a ship without a compass. You might stay afloat, but you're likely to lose your way. Each impeachment saga serves as a cautionary beacon, illuminating the perils that await when integrity is jettisoned in favor of expediency. But here's the kicker. While impeachment is as rare as a blue moon and twice as dramatic, it's not just a punitive tool or a political weapon. It's democracy's safety valve, designed to vent the pressure cooker of governance gone awry and keep the ship of state on an even keel. So, can history teach us anything? Absolutely. It teaches us that the road through impeachment land is paved with lessons on the value of accountability, the virtue of transparency, and the paramount importance of integrity. It's a journey that underscores the resilience of democratic institutions and the enduring power of the people's voice. Let's just hope future occupants of the Oval Office have their history books open to the right page.